Okay, just finishing up those last three. Okay, now we got to clean out the primer pocket. You get it. Okay, so this happens. You'll be going along. You'll be cleaning your primers or your primer pockets. You'll be like, yeah. Then you'll be like, what the hell? And you got to turn around, and it's a small one, and you're all blazer. It just happens. It's not fun. Oh. Blaze. Blazer. Triple blazer. I'm all done. Now we gotta basically swap out the dye. So out of that whole batch, I got 3 blazers. We were just picking up from the range. So this one resizes it and seats the resizes the bullet so it flares it out so the actual projectile can go into it. Right now it doesn't. You can't do it. It doesn't work. I'll show you later. When you put this in, it resizes it so that it flares the end of this out so the bullet will fit in. So I'm taking out the depinning die, putting that back in here. That's step 1, step 2, step 3. This is the bullet seater. Just tighten it down. I've already sized it. And set the lock ring on it, so all good to go. This one, so we got to get our primers out. So primers, you got to get this primer tray. Got large pistol primers because these are 45. Put it on there like that, and then you can just shake them around or do whatever. If 3 or 4, you're going to shake it again later, so it doesn't matter. You just, so then this is a little primer pocket thing. It's the wrong size, so I got to change it out. It's in a small because I was making some 9mm, so I got to get it to the large. It was kind of a tricky process. The last time I did this, I got I poked my finger. Anyway, so those are the pieces I need, and a little poker. This here, so I put this in this little guy and loosen it up. I don't know if you can see that. I'm loosening it up. There's a little spring on it that comes off like that. So I get the smaller one, or the larger one, sorry. The spring on it, so it's 3 pieces. Then this thing goes up and down, and it holds the primer. So I'm just threading it in there, and then you get to the end, you gotta get this little poker. tighten it up. So that's tightened. And then I'm already done doing this. Alright. So now we get a case that's been deprimed and cleaned, and get a primer. You put it in the primer in this little pocket thing there, put the bullet in its case holder, run it up and it flares it, and then it put the primer in the primer pocket. That's it. It's pretty easy. So so now the bullet will stay in there now. So it's kind of flared it out. Just a hair. You don't want it to get all stuck in there. Anyway. Alright, so you should get the idea of what's going on here. So I'm going to continue. Alright, we're down to the last 5 shells that need to be primed. So I'll do those real quick and then we'll go on to the next step, which is getting the powder set up. We got to fill them with powder, and well, we got to get a recipe. Actually, first we got to make sure we have the right measurements and all that other stuff. So gotta get the book out, do a bunch of stuff here. So that's 101. Actually, I had 100 primers, and then I have an extra couple that were left over, so I was able to put one extra in there. So 101 bullets. That's our count. That's the first time we really get to count them because of the primer tray. Anyway, so now let's get the book out and let's see what we got here. I was loading 9mm, so then we go up to 45 auto. And we're doing a 185 grain 451s. 451, 185 grain. There's one there. 185 grain. Is it 2? Oh. Alright, well, there really isn't. This is a 200 grain. Yeah, we don't have the XTP in here, so we're gonna have to go to a recipe that I already looked at, that I did. So I got these ones here, I think. Oh no, these are spear. No. Where are we at? Here it is. So I wrote down the recipe for the XTP bullet using Longshot. Okay, so we're using Longshot. So 8.8 grains of Longshot. Alright. Should write this down. So I get and write down. We got Hornady bullets. XTP, hollow point, whatever. 0.451. 185 grains. We're going to be using Longshot at 8.8 grains. Using CCI-300 Primers. Total overall length, we're going to go to 1.213. Alright. And then Today's date, man. 10/19. 19. There you go, man. Happy birthday. So, Longshot, 8.8 grains. I'm gonna pour it in here. There you go. And we'll just put the cap on that. Okay. .6. So we're gonna open this up here. I got a little set screw, but let's go 1, 2 full turns. Okay. 10.7. Okay. Well, now we gotta screw it back in. Screw it back in 1 full turn. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera. So 8.7. Wow, that's pretty damn close. Let's try this again. 8.8. That's spot on. So I'm gonna lock this down right there. I can move it later, but there's a little flat spot, so I can kind of remember the angle. Let's try it one more time. 8.8. Perfect. That's gonna be good. Okay, now I got my tray set up. Measure is good. We get some powder in these bullets. I'm just gonna do this for a while. So now we've got this tray full. Grab another tray. But I want to check and see if the measurement's alright on the scale again. Make sure that it's still, this thing's still good. Yeah, 8.8. Still spot on. It's so much faster than the digital scale. It's nice to have the digital scale and it'll trickle it out, but I mean, that red thing over there is nice to have, but this green one from RCBS does just fine. A couple hundred, I will never have, for the run that I do, I typically adjust it once and I check it a few times through, but it's always on, so I have no problem with it. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. Alright, so I'm just finishing up here. Add that one extra. Oh, there's no primer in it. There it is. Well, I got that one. You know what? I could just put a primer in this one. I got the thing set up. Just get one primer. Put it over here and lock and load, man. Alright, so I got a primer going here. We'll just take the stuff that's in this scale already. We're good to go. We got 102 now. Gained bullets. Alright, so now we just got our bullets, got a bullet, we made it so that the bullet fits in there, take it over, oh we gotta change up the press. It's pretty easy. Take out the resizing flare die and then put in the flat nose because it's the flathead bullet, or the, well it's got a flat head on it versus a round nose. And then this will crimp down too, so put that on there, get this out, put it in there. So we got the bullet. Now the recipe that we had called out that it had to have a case overall length of 1.213, so let's see where we're at. We're at 1.21. That's, I mean, 3/1000ths of an inch. 10 thousandths of an inch. I don't know. I don't think it's much. So, let's keep that out. Got 2 bullets here. And then we'll start. Oh, we gotta put the bullet in. Alright. So now we'll start making bullets. Take a thing, put the bullet in there, rock it over here, crimp it. You got your bullet. Pretty straightforward. Then you gotta measure it, make sure the length is up to par. The recipe calls 213. This is like 218. Alright. Crimp a few of these. Pretty straightforward stuff. This is 210, so this should be all tight. Anyway, I'm going to continue on. Alright, so we're down to the last 4. That's about it. Pop the bullet in there. Pushes it, crimps it. Just the final thing I gotta do after this is just measure. Measure the last one. So 1.218. It's supposed to be 1.213. So I'm like 5/10 thousandths off. So it's all right. All right. Happy birthday! I put a T in there for you. Happy birthday, Trev! So I do have to put all of the Longshot that's left in here back into the tube. So it's kind of, you can, you know, do one thing at a time, but there's this little quick set thing. I can just undo that. Releases a lot more powder. That's about it. I do have a little brush here so I can brush all this stuff down, I guess.